This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
How are you? How you doing? You see, I screwed up the opening again. I can't do anything right. Every time I say everything's going perfectly. I'm getting this, and then I'm playing that, and then I'm playing this, I'm playing that, and then I go, "Where's the audio to that beginning?" Oh, I don't have that pod up. Oh boy, I'm getting too old for this. Oh well, it's time to bring in. One member of our citizen panel who starts us off on Wednesdays. Why, I have no idea, but we do it anyway. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. That's Phil Meyer. Hey. I actually did it.
Yeah, happy August 3rd to you.
Yes, a happy August 3rd to me, too. Oh, God, my life has just been a living hell.
Oh, what's going on now?
Oh, just everything. For the last 3 days, I've been dealing with one technical issue after another, to a point where I got so exhausted yesterday that I was ready to say, that's it, I'm through, no more of this. Because I just go, why am I doing this? Why am I exhausting myself? I mean, everything that could go wrong went wrong. First, I had mail problems where I wasn't getting my alex@gabnet.net mail. Okay, which is
because I sent you a long email.
What?
I sent you a long email. It probably messed up your system. I sent you the 51 pages of Trump's accomplishments.
Yeah. By the way, put together by Trump.
Why not?
Far be it from, he so seldom toots his own horn.
No, never. Not Donald Trump. But continue with your story of woe. We'll get to the meat of it.
And so I wasn't getting the mail. Then I got that solved. And then, I tell you, we are. You remember how we used to do everything on Skype here? Jack still does his show on Skype. Damien does his show on Skype. The sports guy, franchise MC, does it on Skype. As of today, no more Skype.
GabNet Live is no more.
No more Skype.
So you were able to bring everybody else into the 21st century?
No, I was forced to.
Oh, what happened?
Skype is the worst.
Well, we knew that.
The worst. Okay, so go on the other day. Damien is having trouble signing on, and it's not taking his password. And so I tried it. It's not taking the password either. So I put in a new password. So then he's able to sign on. And then after he's through, there's no more. The password doesn't work anymore. So then I try to reinstall the password, and after a couple of tries, it says, "You've tried too many times. Try tomorrow."
All right, so you're done.
Yeah, so try tomorrow. So I try tomorrow, and it says, "Oh, you have too many things, blah, 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 blah. Try tomorrow." And I'm going, this is driving me nuts. And so I was going crazy. I was at this computer, literally, for something like 8-9 hours trying to solve this problem, which never got solved.
There's a couple of things.
So I decided, fuck it. Jack's out sick for about a week and a half, so I don't have to worry about getting him up to speed. Damien gets up to speed like that, and the franchise MC does his thing from Damien's place. So tonight they just did it on Zoom. They use this Zoom that we use here. And,
how did it go? How did it go?
Not a hitch. No problem.
Right.
He got right on. Boom, boom, boom. I told him how to do it. Yeah, we're
Well,
okay.
Damien's very smart and very computer
Well, and
savvy.
it's not that difficult either. I mean, yes, he is. I always feel very safe when I know that Damien is going to be doing something. Okay, but he was safe and he was doing it good, and so that was fine. You know, the only problem is there are a couple of problems. The problem is that the person after you, before he goes on, if he's going to use Zoom, cannot use it until you're off and not using it anymore. Because if he suddenly decides to start using it, you get disconnected.
Oh, I see. Because you only have one Zoom account.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And another Zoom account would cost me about $147 a year. And I just don't think for a couple of programs it's worth it. You know, when I've already got one, and if we simply are respectful of each other, it'll work fine.
This is the good thing. Damien, you can trust to sign out. I mean, you know, without a doubt. Jack comes on after you, and I know that you'll sign out. So therefore, you don't have a problem until
Well, I don't
the
have
next
a
one.
problem unless Jack decides, hey, I think I'll sign into Skype early, and then I lose my signal.
Well, he's got to
So
know.
then I've got to sign back in to drop his signal. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so he's
Well,
he's
is
just
that
gonna,
what happened a few minutes ago when I tried to log on around 7:15, 7:20? I got cut off. I got a thing that said the host ended the thing. So that's why I wrote you and
Well,
said
I was turning it
I'm
on
having
and off
problems.
and trying a couple of things to kind of, you know, just test it out.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if I could see. I want to be able to have a second account, one that's only 40 minutes and free. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what happens? Let's say I want to call Jack's show. Well, I can't call him using my account,
Right.
right?
But-
So
yeah,
I
that's
got
true.
so I got to have a second account. So what I have now is a second account. So
'Cause
that
you
I
used
can
to have two Skype accounts. You had a personal and
yeah,
the
I had several. I bought four of them.
yeah.
You can't do that anymore. Listen, I got to tell you about Skype. These guys are scumbags.
Yeah.
You know, ever since Microsoft took them over, you knew that the wonderful days of Skype, it was a good system. It really was. I mean, it
Yeah, it
served,
was.
served us very nicely. To begin with, try talking to anybody at Skype. Just try.
Oh, you've had that for years. You couldn't get through to those guys.
No, but there's no way to talk to them. Try writing them. There's no way to write to them
Yeah.
to complain. The only way in which I've had any communication back and forth is when I said that I needed to I needed to figure out, you know, give me a new password.
Yeah.
And then I had to go through answering this literal pages and pages of questions. You're on it, by the way. Name
Yeah.
5 people that you've written to.
yeah.
Name 2 subjects that have been in the subject line. I mean, this kind of bullshit.
Who can remember that
Well,
stuff?
no, but why? Well, I mean, I had to do some research to do it. But the question is, why do they need the answers to all these questions? These are questions that, quite frankly, I don't feel good about giving them.
Well, you had Walter's radio show, and I had to call in via phone on Skype, and to get into that show, and I still have $19.82 credit with Skype. That every 6 months or
I've
so.
got probably about $60 worth of credit between all the accounts. They're welcome to it.
Yeah, it's the only time I ever used it was to do what we had.
I
to do.
just decided after this that no more Skype. To begin with, it's an inferior system to this. You know, the only thing it's good for, and by the way, I was looking for a way that you could start like another channel. Like I had A Bennett 210.
Yeah.
I had this one, Gabnet Live. I had Great American Broadcast.
Yeah.
I had Alex Bennett. Okay, so there's 4 of them. You can't even get one of them now. I guess when you sign up for the first time, they give you one. But then they give you one with a weird name that you can't change, like 479V7637B.
Well, that won't work for you.
No. So, I mean, what is with these people? Do they have a death wish for their company?
I think they do.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that there's there's something available. I was just watching, waiting for this. I was watching Alex Jones testify.
Oh God, have you been watching that?
Yeah. Now, InfoWars may be available.
Yeah.
So so you can maybe get Infowars.com. Do you know that his invoices, his gross income intake? Now, I don't know if he had to pay other. I'm sure he had to pay other people.
Yeah.
$160 million.
What?
Yeah, they asked him on the stand what were these invoices. Well, that was income, and I think it was for a year. It was $160 million. Testimony under oath on the stand. So,
yeah, but he's been lying anyway. So how do you know that testimony is real?
Well, it's sworn, and I think
were other things that he's lied about on the stand.
I think right now his tushy is so puckered because of what's going on.
I was watching it, Law and Order or Law and
Law and Order channel, right?
Has it, and I was watching it on YouTube. And I was watching him for a couple of minutes, and the questions they were asking him and how he was sweating like a roasted hog.
Is he 150 pounds heavier than he used to be?
He's 150 pounds heavier than you.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's going on and on about this stuff, and I'm thinking, this guy will wind up killing himself. He'll wind up taking a bullet.
I was wondering if that's what he was doing with all of that weight, because I don't remember seeing pictures of him that heavy. Now, they could Photoshop his stuff, and who knows.
Well, I think he's trying to pack in as much food as possible before he can't afford it anymore.
Well, I think maybe it's called suicide by food.
It could be.
You ever think about that?
Yeah, it could be.
People get depressed, they eat.
Yeah.
And $160 million. Did you hear that testimony? Yeah. It was the first group of the first YouTube testimony when they swore him in.
By the way, also, then on top of everything else, I had a thing today where Windows forces you to, reboot.
Are you still using the Windows machine?
Well, I use all the music on this show, and I do the Monday show on the Windows machine. But if they force you, and they keep nudging you, do you want to do it now? Will you do it tomorrow? Please do it tomorrow. Would you? And so finally today I said, hell, I can't take the nudging. So I said, I have 15 minutes free here. Let it, redo it. So it resets itself up. And then I can't reach that machine from all the other machines because I'll have them on a network. Yeah. I can't figure out why. When it rebooted, it switched off from a thing called private to public or the other way around, and that's why I wasn't able to get it. But it took me 15 minutes to figure it out. Now, that's in the middle of all this other crap that's been going on.
Sure. Well, let's see. I understand the frustrations over computers. When your car's not running right, men seem to, they take it personally. It actually affects your health. When your computer's not running right, same thing. It kind of affects your health.
I'm better because in the old days, I used to go insane if something went technically wrong. Yeah. Now I don't go insane. I just get ill.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
That's close enough.
And I'm like dizzy. And Marjorie yesterday was saying, "Why are you, so out of it?" And I didn't get sleep the night before.
And you can't go to sleep until you accomplish what you got to accomplish.
And I had to take 2 Xanax.
Yeah.
To get me to sleep. And so the next day I'm bumping into walls, and Marjorie's worried about me. You're stumbling all over the place, and this thing has made me physically ill to the point where I told her yesterday. I said, I think I'm just going to stop doing this. You know, I mean, I can do other stuff that, you know, I got to tell you, this is a great story. So Marjorie and I go out for a walk the other day. I can barely.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And I got to say, I can barely walk anymore. I'm getting that way. You know, it's getting difficult. And so we go for a walk, and we do this video, which you saw. How many? Maybe if I get a couple hundred people watching this every night, I'm lucky. Okay, I consider that a decent night. How many people do you think watch that silly little video of Marjorie and I showing you turtles in a pond?
Probably 600, and that's a guess.
Oh, try 800.
Really?
Actually, closer to 900. Yeah.
Well, you almost got lost. She said go this way. You said go that way.
Oh, it was interesting.
It's special. You know, you look at these people that are doing stuff. Now, I was just watching after the Alex Jones thing. I was watching this guy that's teamed up with a guy who finds scammers, and he found this scammer who goes in, makes it look like you've got $5,000 in your bank account.
Wait a minute. Is this the guy who scams the scammers?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. That is the best.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
is the best, because you're sitting there. It's like he calls it with somebody who's like just one of these spam callers.
Right.
And then he knows how to get into their computer.
Right. Well, what this guy did was he was scamming people, and he found out that he had scammed people in a month over $60,000 in monies. Well, it turns out that the guy lives 20 miles south of Los Angeles, and so they went to the guy's luxury apartment, and they were going to try to get the guy out and take pictures of him and harass him, but it was a high security building. And I didn't get to see the end of it. I'll see it a little later.
But there's this one guy. I don't know if it's the same guy you were going and watching.
Chubby guy.
No,
with glasses.
No.
Trilogy. It's called Trilogy.
No.
Well, he teamed up with that scammer guy.
All of them are imitating this other guy. I can't remember what his name is now. But this other guy, I mean, he will find guys in India who are making the calls, saying, would you like in this or that or whatever, and a scam of one sort or another. And then he will go and he will take their call, and then through one way or another, because he's an old hacker himself, he figures out how to get into their computer that they're using to call him.
Right.
And then he erases all their hard drives.
Very nice.
And you're sitting there.
Right. That's justice.
Yeah, that's justice.
That's justice.
Yeah.
Well, talking about justice.
Yes.
Your friend Nancy Pelosi. Now, you're
Pelosi.
probably going to be surprised at my position on this. A lot of Republicans, especially the first, before she went to Taiwan, were against the visit. She's going to cause World War III, things like that. And I thought about it, and I said, I don't think it's a good thing for the United States to be bullied by communist China, and that Taiwan is an ally of the United States, and I feel that she should go there and not bend to their wishes. It would really put us at a disadvantage if she didn't go. Now, Biden didn't want her to go. I think the Biden administration might be compromised when it comes to China. I don't know why. I don't know what they have on him or his administration. But for one reason or another, whenever there's something to do with China, Biden backs down. But Pelosi didn't. And as I said, many of the Republicans were coming out against Pelosi. And then I saw Mike Pompeo actually echo exactly what I'm saying, is that I thought that she did the right thing by standing up to China, going and visiting.
I think that she did the right thing by going once China threatened. Okay, I don't.
Well,
under normal,
had to go.
Under normal circumstances, I would say, don't go. Okay?
Yeah, why poke the bear?
Why poke the bear? But as long as the bear was threatening you, you gotta go.
Now, this the bear may end up not doing anything, and the that would actually weaken Xi Jinping, I guess his name is. And I thought that
She.
maybe it's she, he, they Jinping, just to be woke. But
He's binary. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But you know, uh, I agree with what she did, and I saw what they did to Hong Kong. Now Hong Kong belongs to China, but Taiwan doesn't. It has its own government, and
Yeah, but China doesn't think that.
well, that's too
No,
bad.
I mean China doesn't think that. I mean, hell, Trump thinks he's president.
Well,
So I mean, come on, people are delusional.
yeah.
You
Well,
know.
you've been very supportive of China over the last few
Well,
years.
I'm
Has your
support.
opinion changed?
Well, my opinion has not changed about the people. I think they're
Oh, of course
wonderful.
not.
I think they're
I
wonderful.
love the Chinese people and their food.
Yeah, and their food. You still want delivery to your house. That's why
Of
you're
course,
saying it.
yeah.
I've never been a big fan of the Chinese government.
No.
I think the government has been, I think, stupid. Okay, because what they're doing is they are so used to having power and wielding power and being powerful that they don't like anybody who in any way questions or comes between them and that power and not obeying their beliefs and so on.
Rule of
Rule,
law.
yeah. And I think they're stupid to do that. I think when what's his name? I'm trying to think of his name. The old Chinese leader.
Mao
No,
Zedong.
not Mao. The guy after him. I'll remember it in a minute. I've just been my brain's been screwed up for months here.
Yeah.
Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping opened up China to trade. He's the guy that started really allowing Hong Kong to do the kind of business they were doing, allowing Shanghai to be this this
Did
area.
he
Yeah,
did he negotiate? Who negotiated with Kissinger and Nixon the opening of China?
I think that might have been done. It might have been Deng Xiaoping. Could have been. Could have been. All right. But I will say one thing about him. He was really good about this, and he really did a great job of it. And what happened was China started to prosper. And he was being interviewed by Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes, and Mike Wallace said, I thought you were against capitalism. He says, no, I have nothing against capitalism as long as it benefits everybody. He was still, being a communist when he said that. He said that the only thing he has against capitalism is when it's greedy and it doesn't help everybody. You know.
Well, I have a little different view.
But Deng,
More independent.
literally opened up China,
Yeah.
and freed it up. And everybody was getting used to this freedom, and they had this wonderful thing going in Hong Kong. Hong Kong was doing just great business, and all these companies. I mean, if you'd seen Beijing when I went there, I had somebody show me pictures 20 years earlier where it was nothing but dirt roads, and now Beijing, it has these buildings. You wouldn't believe the kind of metropolis.
Were
it's
you
become.
being handled though by them showing you only what they wanted you to see?
No.
Because I
No.
saw a YouTuber that does these things about China, and that you could see that they brought him to certain locations to,
I can't say
put their
I-
best foot forward,
I can't say.
and they didn't let him go in other.
No, I
types of things.
can't say that I had any indication of that. Okay?
Yeah.
Had no indication of that. We were ushered around by this person from Marjorie's company that they were paying for to drive us around and show us stuff and so on and so forth.
And that wasn't required, maybe, by the government.
No, not at all. Because then we left her for about, I think it was 4 or 5 days, and went to another part of China And we traveled in that area, and we hired a guide, to take us around. But he didn't have anything to do with the government. We chose who we wanted, We never had that kind of situation where we felt we were being watched or followed, or taken on a guided tour that made us see what we wanted to see. No, we had free run of the place, So
Interesting. Well, because I'd heard stories that when European or American tourists go to China, they have areas that they have these big apartment buildings. They're empty, and they show you this, but they're really a facade. And
well, those were those buildings they built, and when they were overbuilding, and they never were able to get people to move into them.
had you heard? I know that Marjorie was in the banking business with Chinese Bank, but I'm hearing that there's a number of Chinese banks, especially some of the internet ones, that are having big financial problems, closing. People can't get their money out, and China is facing very serious banking problems right now.
I don't know. I really don't know anymore. All I know is that things are not like they were when I was over there, and that was admittedly, it's 10 years ago now.
Wow.
They were prosperous. Everybody was happy. Beijing was this absolute metropolis. It was actually one of the most wonderful countries I've ever visited.
Yeah.
And then we went down to where was it? What do you call it? The Lee River and
Lee
so
River,
on.
where they float the candles.
No.
No, what's that?
Well, they do that, I guess. Maybe I have no idea, but it just happens to be those wonderful triangular mountains and so on. It's beautiful. And then we went out into the countryside, and we went to the rice paddies and up into the hills of the rice paddies and all of that, something I probably couldn't do now. And it was wonderful. And nobody at any time told us where we had to go or where we couldn't go.
Oh.
So, is it that way? Maybe it's that way now in China. I don't know. But it wasn't back then.
I don't know how old that video was and exactly what the angle of it, this guy was being handled, and there was like 5 people that he could identify.
Are you sure you weren't watching a video about North Korea?
No. This was definitely China.
North Korea.
I'm sure it's the same thing.
No, not the same thing. In North Korea, you can't go anywhere without a government person.
Without a handler.
Yeah.
Well, with this guy, he was videotaping the whole thing. He had a camera crew, and you could see he would say, "This is person number 1, person number 2, person number 5," and it was the same people. No matter where he went, there were the same observers, Chinese observers, and they were trying to blend into the crowd, but they were the exact same people. And I was taken back by it, and I said, "Well, gee, I wonder if they're really handling it to that point."
Yeah.
I once I went to Zurich, and I was walking around Zurich, and they were having an OPEC meeting, and the only room I could get was at the Dolder Grand Hotel. It was up the tram. So what ended up happening was this Russian guy approaches me, and he starts talking to me and Susan, and he wanted to know what I was doing and why I was there. And when he figured out I'm a tourist and I was looking to buy a watch, then he said, "Oh, go over there and you can get it."
Yeah.
He was probably, and this was in the 80s. He was probably KGB.
Well, who knows? Was this in Russia, you say?
No, this was in Zurich, Switzerland, and I was staying at the penthouse at the Dolder Grand Hotel. It was the only room available. We got on a train. There was this gal who was the president of Evan Picone Hosiery said, "Well, if you come to Zurich, we'll buy you dinner." All right, so we went to Zurich. We were just going to go to Chiasso, or Lake, I think it was Lake Como. And so we went up to Zurich. I said, "Where are you staying?" She says, "Dolder Grand Hotel." I tried to get a room, cheaper room, couldn't get one, and so we checked in there.
By the way, Kevin says your mic is loud as usual, so turn it down a bit.
Oh,
would
I think I
please?
just got to push it away a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that
That
better?
worked.
Yeah, that
I think they
worked.
were following you around because you were wearing that fake Rolex watch.
No, I actually didn't
I
have a
think he
room.
was wearing the "Make America Great Again" hat.
Yeah, no, this was.
By the way, hello to Charlie Wallace, who now is wearing a T-shirt. Now, come closer with that T-shirt. Let me
Tell
see
us
if-
what it says, Alex.
Let me see here, and it was
Where
delicious.
minus
Something pie.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think you can you read it? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh wow.
You got a cat.
Oh, you guys got
Yeah.
a cat.
He's trying to eat my cabbage.
Oh, that's a kitty. That's a kitty.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Wow.
How old is
He's
he?
4 months and slow down. 4 months and 1 week old.
Is Adrian?
He just came on here when he heard the big mouth. I mean, he heard Phil come. So
Well, wait a minute now. Is Adrian love the cat?
yeah, but she's 6, so she's
Yeah.
a little rough with the cat right now, but she's learning.
A little rough with the cat.
Not rough like beating up the cat, but it's
Yeah.
just you got to be smooth with the
Hey,
cat. So it's only been
Adrian, can you hear me? The whiskers aren't detachable. Okay.
Your
Don't-
daddies are, but
give
not
her
the
an idea.
cats.
oh my god, gotta get my 2 cents. Sorry, I gotta put my 2 cents.
God,
Yeah,
we're
so
in a-
actually, he's doing pretty good. But he wants water. Go ahead, take it. Yeah, he's very beautiful. I love the markings and his tails all got a little white at the end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I really like.
Is it male?
Yeah, he's a male,
Okay, so he's.
and we got him from. Okay, good. We got him from Humane Society, so it's good.
Good. So a rescue. Good.
Yeah.
Bravo. for
One
you.
less animal to be
God,
killed.
he wants to stay in here. Can you turn on the light and then turn it low?
Okay.
So far, every morning this week, the guy who works for me as my office manager,
Yeah.
he's the photographer for the Oakland Zoo, and they rescued 2 tigers that were emaciated from. It had something to do with that tiger guy,
Yeah.
Tiger King or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, they ended up with these 2 tigers, and they've nursed
No.
them back to health.
Mhm.
And
And then
they want him to take photos, but
and then the tigers ate him.
yeah, no, it
Oh, the
rained the other
Tigers
day.
were
They
from
didn't want to
Mar-a-Lago, weren't they?
No, they didn't
Okay,
want to.
now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's get back to Charlie's teeth.
I know. Sorry I interrupted, but I just thought that's the only moment the cat's gonna stay here for a second. So sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
I actually got high fives in this shirt.
Okay, but it had something to do with pie, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
But I don't know the rest of it. So would you
Ice cream
explain?
pie is
Huh?
He
Minus
is
square root
Greek.
of -1 is I.
Yeah.
2 cubed is 8.
Okay.
Sigma is the sum sign.
I ate some
I ate
pie,
some pie.
and it was delicious.
That's very good. Do you have a subscription service to get these?
No, they just pop up on Amazon Prime, and then if I see one I like, I order it.
Ah,
And because he knows this, it's funny to him.
Yeah.
Do people, as you wear walking down the street, do they say, "What does that mean?"
A lot of people do. Nobody got it. This is the first time anybody ever got it was at the store
Really?
today.
Really? Son of a bitch.
what illiterate people we have in this world, huh?
It's really the same. I'm fine, and then if I see one I like, I order it.
Oh, somebody's got to turn down their audio.
It's funny to him.
Somebody's got to turn down
Yeah,
the
but-
audio.
Kevin,
Kevin
you've got
just
the
popped
green.
on, so must
box.
There's some noise coming from Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, you got to stop it there. He'll do it in a second. There he goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Alan.
Alan.
Alan, thank you. So, Phil sent you 51 pages of Trump's accomplishment. If you open the email, you'll see the first 50 pages are blank.
And the other page is like written like
Well,
he likes
all
it.
I
Right?
know
Trump-
is he sends me this stuff, and I go, why is he wasting his time? He knows I'm going to say, hey, this is
Spam
from
filter.
this is from Trump, you know.
Well, it's good. Did you see any of those things?
Oh
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
your friend.
One of them
Tony,
was he ate pie.
Yeah, and it was delicious.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Tony, I think, is changing his attitude about Trump.
How was that?
About Trump.
Yeah, what, tell me more.
Well, no, all I heard from somebody
Oh, yeah.
that he, huh?
Shecky.
Probably Shecky.
Shecky, exactly. Oh, sorry.
It affected his friendship with him. So I told Tony, it's not worth it. Just if it bothers him, don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the reason he backed off?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I can't.
How would you know, Alan? You've been blocking him for months.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's it. That makes your life so much easier. He's still a Facebook friend, and we can communicate there. But Messenger.
I told him that, if it bothers people, you don't.
Well, now
use
you can move
bludgeon.
closer to your mic. Now you can
Maybe
move
you ought to
closer.
take your own advice.
You can move
if it
closer
bothers
to your
people,
mic.
why do you keep giving us Trump stuff?
Because you deserve it. I want to bother you.
You can move closer to the mic now, Phil.
Oh, okay. Is
Yeah.
that better?
That's better.
A little better. Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, so I really was exhausted the last couple of days. I mean, so much so that I just said, I don't know if I'm going to do this anymore. Because I just, I'm tired of putting out fires. I'm just tired, and it exhausts me. Because, when something goes wrong technically, guys, we don't just let it sit there.
That's right.
Bothers us.
We got to solve the problem. And what I've got here is tons of different problems. Oh, speak his name 3 times and he will show up. It's
But
like,
you've got a half a dozen Mac Minis. Why don't you just have backups that all you'd have to do is plug it in and you're up and running?
what do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, you've got the studio.
Hey, listen, the
set
one
up.
thing that is giving me no trouble at all is the
Phil
new,
can make a mess out of anything electronic.
is the new computer. The new computer is, perfect. Perfect.
And did you say it's the Ultra or the Max that's the one to get?
Which is which? The Max.
I don't know.
The cheaper of the two.
The cheaper? Okay.
The Max.
I think that's the Max.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need it.
No, I don't. But my thing is getting hot. I'm going to move my computer. The wire's too short.
Trash cans get hot, but I'll tell you something. This thing doesn't even seem like it's on. It
Yeah.
is cool all the time, and there's never any fan noise.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking about the future, and so what I did was I tried to move my monitor, and the HDMI cord was too short. So I bought a new HDMI cord for the monitor, and now the camera cord is too short. So I'm just going to move the computer closer to the monitor.
So your cable's too short.
Yes.
Hello to Jeff. Are you in Connecticut or are you somewhere else?
You're muted, Jeff.
You're muted.
Okay.
Are you
Talk. Oh, are we doing signs again? All right.
Oh, I can do. Which is. How's this?
Yeah. Are
Good.
you still at home?
Yeah,
Oh, you're just in a
I'm
different
at
room.
home.
You're in a different room.
Yeah.
I know. I have some people who are visiting
Every
from Germany.
Yeah.
Of
Oh,
all
okay.
places.
Most Saturdays, Kevin and I and Patrick and Josh get together and talk. Okay. It's not broadcast, nothing like that. It's just we sit here and we just bullshit. I'm usually the first one to pass out. But the other night, and didn't you find the other night especially interesting, Kevin? With some of the stuff that Josh was bringing up about the history of the United States and the writing of the Constitution.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all the terrible things that were going on when they were doing that.
Yeah.
Did you know about any of that?
No, a lot of it was is published, but they don't teach you that stuff,
Yeah.
and that the torts and all that stuff, the treaty, whatever.
Like
When there was actually a war after the war, or slaughter after the war,
yeah, yeah.
it went on. There was a treaty signed, but people were still beating the shit out of each other and
Everybody thinks the war ended at
slaughtering each other and everything else.
As Josh put it, everybody thinks the war ended with Yorktown, and it didn't. And that there were people, for instance, who were pro-British during that time, that after the war, literally were their homes were sold, and some of them were killed. I mean, it was pretty violent.
And it's interesting because I was going through a couple of documentaries today, and I ran across one that started talking about that, but I couldn't watch the whole thing because I had to leave. But it started talking about that kind of stuff after.
Yeah. So we weren't so wonderful when we wrote the Constitution either, and it was some pretty horrible stuff he was saying went on during that period of time.
How did Hamilton and Jefferson and some of the other authors play into this?
Well, one of them became a musical.
Okay. Didn't he get shot by Aaron Burr?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this around 18?
No, 17.
17th Constitution.
Really?
Yeah, it was all about he was talking about the Constitution, and that it didn't come about as easily as you would think, or as inspired as you think. That it was a pretty arduous process in which a lot of people got killed, a lot of people were, vilified, and it was not pretty. Not
It was
pretty.
around 1776.
In
right?
fact, I didn't even know. Do you know? I never knew the difference between the Whigs and the Tories till I talked to him the other night.
Who were they?
Either.
Do you know the difference? Anybody here, besides Kevin, who was there the other night, know the difference between the Whigs and the Tories?
Trump is a Whig.
No, that's a comb over.
Okay, close.
Yeah.
One conservative, one liberal. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
The Whigs, was it the Whigs that were pro King? And
Wouldn't that be the
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and the Tories were pro Republic, pro democracy, and I guess that's why the Whigs didn't last that long.
We just ripped them right off.
Yeah, they ripped them right
Helped
off.
them.
Yeah. But it was a very interesting discussion. I almost wish it had been broadcast, because I think it was so educational. People should have heard it.
Maybe you can continue to generate it another night with Josh on.
Well, we thought about doing that on Friday nights and just having the four of us together and doing it. But you see, the thing is that it wouldn't be as good because, and I think Kevin would agree with me, is that the reason it's as good as it is because nobody's worried about reprisals of anything they say.
But why don't you
Right?
give them a half hour before a show? Like
No,
take
because
Wednesday,
because we would take. Wouldn't you agree, Kevin? We would take the feeling of the discussion, the reason for it out of it if we were to broadcast it.
Well, what he's saying about, I think he's talking about the history portion with Josh.
Well, I'm just talking about the discussion we have and the way we
yeah, we
talk
just
with each
do
other
that.
and so on, that if all of a sudden we knew it was other people could hear us doing it, it would change the nature of the discussion.
I think the history would be interesting to your listeners.
No, but that's not the point I'm making.
Oh, sorry.
They have a certain they have a
privacy
aura
thing.
or a certain not camaraderie, but a certain they jive together on these Saturday things, and it makes it's comfortable. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are a little more careful about what they say when they know everybody can hear them.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Tony.
Except for Tony, but then
Yeah, it's
again,
like
He's talking about Chinese food.
Tony's messages. Yeah, they're very.
yeah,
I keep-
broadcast those to
keep,
anybody, Phil.
I keep begging these guys. We got to add Tony to this group, but they don't agree with me. So
No,
I've been trying to find out how you take Tony's audio calls to me and their recordings, but I don't know how you can copy them and send them so that you can play with them. There's no way. I
you're
would,
not fun with those.
yeah, I think maybe there might be some sort of cable I could get and
I can probably find you some.
download it into this Zoom, which has a chip in it, and then maybe I could turn it into an audio file.
well, I think that
There's
if
got to be a way to get it off the
if
phone.
Tony knew that every call he made to any of you was going to be broadcast,
Don't forget.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
he wouldn't call any of you.
That's
wonderful.
Yeah, really.
I have no filter. Like
He's still-
I'm getting thrown out of school again. You can
He's
leave
still
me.
called Phil.
I'm going to McDonald's.
He still calls Phil, and Phil advertises stuff all the time.
Let's see here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but
And
some of
Shaggy wasn't really.
some of these rants are pretty good, and Alex could have a lot of fun with them.
We could, yeah.
If I could,
Sometimes we talk about Alex in fun now, right, Phil?
what?
We talk about Alex in fun now.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
you
no! I
talked
told- I
about
told
me?
He died the other day.
No, no, oh no, we just joke about you. Not in a bad sense. We think, I wonder how can Alex not think this is funny? And then you called him, he's poisoned. You said.
He calls me up and he says some.
He's
bullshit.
gotta think this is
So I
funny.
said,
Do you,
Did
you
Shecky tell you?
actually gave him your phone number, Phil?
Figured it out.
They don't listen to you, Alex. I always tell them, why don't you listen to him?
It's published, on the website.
I told that to Shecky, Alex, so many times. You never listen to Alex. What? He told you don't invite him over. He's like, now he knows where you
I
live.
said to Shaggy, I said, the big mistake you ever made was to try and be nice
always
to
say that.
Tony.
They always reference you, Alex, in a funny way.
Because
Like, wonder what
I
that thing-
told Shecky, I said, Tony doesn't fuck with me. He doesn't
You told me,
dare.
then I listened. You're like my father. You yell at me once, I went, okay, put me in my place.
Well, that's because you pat him down when he leaves your apartment to make sure you
Yeah, I
get all the silverware back.
I don't have anything, I swear.
Yeah.
So, Tony keeps threatening to come out here in September.
No,
There's a
probably in
big-
the winter. And when the basketball starts, I'm going to come out there.
When is that?
The Warriors start playing, what, end of October?
November, beginning of November is NBA.
Oh, then you're gonna miss the big party in September. We got a bunch of people coming over, champagne, caviar.
No.
And I'll get McDonald's burgers for you, so you
That
can
would be
be
nice.
home.
Man, I haven't had McDonald's in a while.
You're
No,
going to get
no.
on an airplane?
I'm a little scared of taking off, Alex, but then once I'm up, I'm okay.
Wait a minute, that's not what I'm talking about. There's a little thing called COVID out there.
Yeah, you're
You ever
right.
see those
Brother
YouTube
tested
people that
positive.
get thrown off of airplanes because they're either drunk or they're disruptive, especially at Southwest Airlines? Tony is going to be on one of those shows. He'll never make it out of here because they'll throw him off the plane.
And I just like
You'll
to
be okay
quarantine. Feel I gotta
As
stay
long
home for a
as you
week.
bring
I'm
people
quarantined.
nooses.
If we wait long enough, he'll be on an episode of Cops.
Yeah.
Hey, what am I doing in the car here? You got the wrong guy.
They all
You
said
got the wrong guy.
they all said he was such a nice, quiet guy, but then
Yeah.
one day he murdered everybody in the neighborhood.
Hey, he
I
went
got
up to
one
that
call.
bell
I'll
tower.
Phil up. Phil,
With
can
a
you
high
give me
pre-
a- got the
he
wrong
keeps
guy.
he keeps asking me if I'll take him
Now you're
shooting.
too loud again.
Oh,
You just
he
won't
keeps
get-
asking me if I'll
They-
take him
But you
shooting.
keep saying I'll take you shooting if I go out there. I mean, I never shot at
I don't say I'll take you. You asked me.
Oh,
And he asked me too.
Phil, Phil,
I said if I
do
go.
not teach him how to use a gun.
Yeah, give
Alex,
me
they
some
were
coffee
saying
first.
to take me shooting.
Give him some coffee first.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him some coffee.
Imagine I turn around, which way do I point this thing at? That way.
Yeah. And can we talk about that piece of shit, Alex Jones?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, what
sure.
happened
Go
with
ahead.
Mal?
Go ahead.
And I know some people have kids here and some don't. And I know like
Ryan,
Charlie.
were you watching?
Can you stop interrupting me for 1 second, please?
I just want to know if you were watching the YouTube thing with.
Obviously, he's watching it because he's going to talk about it.
He's worse than
Oh,
me.
So it goes back to his whole rants about how fake all that Sandy Hook stuff was, and like we know like Charlie's older kids and Jeff older kids and Kevin, but Adrian's 6.5, and that's how those kids were. That's their age of those kids, and I don't know how I would handle having to hear stuff of him every night. How fake it is, and people were fake and actors and all that stuff. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, Alex, you mentioned maybe he's going to kill himself, and I hope he does.
Yeah. What is that? Who's got something on there?
Kevin.
Kevin?
Kevin's little bar's lighting up.
Oh.
Yeah, go on mute, Kevin. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ryan,
so
no,
I
wait a
just
minute.
I can't understand how somebody hasn't taken that guy out already.
I thought he
All
was
the money
doing
he's made off of all that stuff,
$160 million. I thought he was doing suicide by food. Because he had just.
If that was the case, he should get your cookbook.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I think that the kind of thing that Alex Jones did was reprehensible. Because as a broadcaster, I always felt I owed a responsibility to my audience. And one of them was to keep them safe. That was one. Never to do anything that would put my audience in any kind of danger. And the other was to not allow lies to be spread. And that was a sheer, utter lie, and one that when you said it was true, you were hurting people. You were literally hurting people.
One of the first things he said, Alex, one of the first things he said on the stand was he apologized, and he said that the Sandy Hook thing was real.
Well, of course he apologized.
Okay, then if he apologizes, every dollar that he made off of that whole Sandy Hook getting ratings and all that stuff, and his contracts and all that stuff, everything should be ripped off him from that. And it won't be, because he's hiding all of his money. He's had so much time to hide his money. You pay people millions of dollars to hide, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's easy to do.
Yeah, and then you go bankrupt, and nobody gets anything
bankrupt.
anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he can get out of that through bankruptcy. Some states don't allow that, and for one reason or another, I thought that he was on the hook.
Where is that trial?
I'm not sure, but I heard that he was on the hook through this bankruptcy.
Whether he's on the hook or not, I'm sure he's got some of it put somewhere where they can't get at it. Okay.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. But I mean, yes, Tony.
What I don't get I get it. He did it all. I mean, it's bizarre.
Would you move your camera so we can see more of your face?
What I don't get is with this guy, Alex Jones, if you really, I'll try to be serious. Like, it's just, he strictly just did this to make money. I mean, how does he live with himself?
I don't know if he did it to make
How
money.
does
He did
Bernie
it
Madoff live with
to be
himself?
controversial.
Oh, yeah, I think he did it to be controversial, and he didn't think about the consequences of doing that sort of thing. There are certain things you can do, and, you can argue whether it's right or wrong, but don't go after a bunch of kids who have been murdered.
I mean, that's exactly it, Alex. The father could say, want me to take you to my son's grave where he's buried, where he hasn't come home anymore? How can he even carry that on?
Well, what he was claiming was that Sandy Hook never happened.
Which is even more bizarre.
They claim the Holocaust never happened.
Well,
but,
I mean, I think it was a fact that here you got a guy, Alex Jones, who every day was looking for a way to be more and more controversial than the last day.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he shot himself in the foot.
Sounds like Donald Trump.
Well,
No.
sounds like Tony learning how to shoot a gun.
Donald Trump was a little close on something like this when he did the whole Barack Obama wasn't born in this country bit, because he was hurting the family. He was hurting the family, the mother, the grandmother, the children.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit.
And he didn't give a shit. He should have been gotten on that one, but there wasn't much that they could do. Yes, Charlie, got your hand up?
Yeah, Alex Jones' trial is taking place somewhere in Texas.
Oh, really?
Matter of fact, he said he was born in Texas and his career started in Texas.
Wasn't
It's
his
in
whole
Austin. It's taking place here in Austin. Yeah.
wasn't the his operation in Texas?
Yes, he's in Austin. He broadcasts from Austin.
And,
Two
and then,
apartments over from you.
then he says he has no text. He never texts anybody about anything about Sandy Hook. And now they fumbled his phone, and now everybody has his text messages from the last 2 years.
Well, he says he didn't have any text messages, and then
Exactly.
it turns out this is a great story.
Yeah.
His lawyer got all his text messages because Jones's lawyer was trying to send those. Are they transcripts basically, or the actual recordings?
I think they're the actual text messages.
Okay,
So,
the text messages. Yeah, sent the actual text messages to the offense's lawyer, the people from, Sandy Hook. So they got all his emails by accident,
Oh, and
all his
discovered
text
an
messages
accident.
for the last 2 years.
and it was
So
it was legal because it was sent to them. And then they said, "You said that you never sent a text message about Sandy Hook." Boom, 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 boom. Here they are, and he's doing a Ralph Cram humma humma humma.
Oh, I told you that I gave him my phone. I told you that I gave the lawyer my phone, but he won't address the text messages.
Yeah,
That's pretty fun.
that's pretty terrible, But
So apparently he broadcast from 13,000 Pond Springs Road in Austin.
Are you doxing him now?
He's doxing me.
God damn it, Charlie! You weren't supposed to break up and laugh.
How'd you know Charlie's address?
Because I
Stalking
sent him
him.
things on that. I had to go on Amazon and look it up. I don't save it.
Anything Alan does all day.
Right.
Alan's
I
stalking
don't
him.
have Brian's. Well, actually, I could find it pretty easy, but I don't have Brian's address or Kevin's address. Lucky them. I do have Tony's. If anybody wants to blackmail him and start sending him, Hustler magazine, he wouldn't know what to do with it.
Wait a minute.
Alex and Patrick conspired to get something from who was the preacher that
That was,
you and Patrick.
what's his name? The Reverend.
It wasn't Joel Osteen, was it?
No. There's another scumbag.
Jerry
Yeah.
Falwell.
he wouldn't let anybody after the floods use his
No.
arena to
Yeah.
help
Get out.
victims. Oh my God!
Christ-like. Yeah.
They didn't want to get the carpets dirty.
I'll tell you.
Knows how much it costs to replace.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you remember the name of the preacher that we?
Jimmy Swigert?
No,
Was it Swigert or
no. Do you remember who it was at all?
Was it Pop It? Remember?
You're on
Oh,
mute,
yeah,
Kevin.
yes, you're close. Papa. Was Poppet?
I
No,
don't know his first
Poppet.
name.
It's close. That's close. It's not Poppet. It's
Are you talking about Jim Baker?
no.
No.
I'm talking about. He said Poppet. That was close.
It's,
Pop-Piv or some pop-off. Or...
Pop off. That's it.
Yeah.
The Reverend.
What
Pop
was
Off.
some of the antics that you guys did to this guy?
Didn't you send him the pennies, Alex? Remember you were telling him to rap don't.
I thought Patrick sent him the whole bag full of pennies.
It was Alex's idea.
Well, no. The thing is that Popoff had a way you could send him stuff without having to pay the postage, and what he would have to do is pay the postage. So I said, send him pennies.
He had a permit, a postage
Yeah,
permit.
and so every time he sent pennies, they were like 20 pounds of pennies. And so he had to pay for 20 pounds of postage. I hate those preachers. I just hate them.
Didn't Patrick get holy water and some other stuff?
Oh,
Yeah.
he sent me all the stuff in a bag that
Yeah.
he got. And there was holy water, and there were holy rags, and holy toilet paper. I don't know, all this stuff.
How did that work out? You stick your finger through the holy toilet paper and then use it?
We figured that Patrick was the test. And we did this on Sirius XM. Patrick was the test for all of this because we figured if Popoff could make him walk, then the guy was legit.
Absolutely.
But if he couldn't make him walk, fuck him.
Yeah.
You know. And he sent him, you know, he wrote him something, and they kept sending him stuff and sending him stuff and sending him stuff, and he never paid them off. He never sent them back anything. You know. Hello, Trucker Steve. He's back on the road again. You know, I mean, I hated Popoff. I thought he was just terrible. He was just terrible. You know, it's funny, I always had an affection for Jim and Tammy Baker because they did what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to build an amusement park for Christians, and God damn it if they didn't do it.
Yeah, they just sold 130% of it.
No, those were timeshares in the hotel. You know, but basically they said they were going to build this place, and they did. And it was pretty awesome, actually, if you think about it. And then why shouldn't Christians have a good place to, you know, go fuck? You know?
Who was the one of the early adopters of? I used to watch him. He was interesting. He had really good hair, and his wife would sing. It wasn't Tammy Baker, but the guy had a satellite. You told a story.
No, I'm telling you, that was Jim and Tammy Baker.
No. This was another.
Because I'll tell you the reason why they had a big downfall. They had something these other guys didn't have. Jerry Falwell wanted it. What's his name? Jerry Lee Lewis's cousin wanted it. And that was the fact that Jim Baker and Tammy Baker were smart enough to get to buy a couple of satellite transponders when they were really cheap. Okay?
Radio Shack.
No, so they could go out all over the country. Well, these guys wanted those transponders, and all he would do is sell them time on them. You know, and they didn't like that. They were jealous of that. And what they did is they set up this whole elaborate operation to eventually throw Jim and Tammy out of the game, and to be able to get those transponders. Falwell said to Jim Baker, I know you're in a lot of trouble right now. Sign over all the transponders to me, and I will take care of them until you're out of all this trouble, and I'll give them back to you. Well, he got out of, I guess he went to jail, and he was out of it when he came back. Do you think he got the transponders back? No way. This was all over transponders. And it was Falwell and Swaggart and a couple of other guys who plotted together to create the undoing of Jim and Tammy Baker. But I used to watch their show every day. I loved it. It was wonderful. You know, it was just terrific. I mean, they were entertainers, and they used to have this thing at Heritage USA. I think that was the name of the amusement park, where there was this kid who had no arms and no legs, and they used to have him on the show. And he would literally lie on the floor and roll around to each of them to talk to them, lying on his back. And so when they built this Heritage USA, they built Kevin's house. Excuse me, Kevin, but I think it was called Kevin's house. And it was his house with he and all his other friends who had other disabilities. In short, they were running a freak show, right? And they had it so that they were very proud of the fact. You know what is this trim you put up at the ceiling that goes around? It's kind of like
crown molding.
Well, not crown molding. This was actually wallpaper on the wall.
Dingleberries.
Yeah, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Well, they had it at floor level, so
Floor level.
who's that?
In there.
Parker Steve.
Steve, your radio's on, your speaker's on, and you're freezing up on us like crazy. But anyway, they had it all along the floor so Kevin could see it. I mean, it was just hilarious. It was just he used to watch his show every day, and I was just amazed at and then Tammy would come out and sing, and then she would cry while she was singing, and she put on some fake mascara. Oh, hey, Steve, your audio's bouncing back at us. Put your thing on mute. Your audio on mute.
It's just my iPhone. There's no noise in here.
Really?
There is here.
Yeah, well, it came back at us. But anyway, who knows? Anyway, so I mean, I used to watch this every day. I found it endlessly entertaining.
Especially
and Charlie's agreeing with me, right, Charlie? Did you used to watch it?
I just watched replays or whatever the other people. I never watched it live or anything.
Oh man, did you? When you saw what you saw, was it entertaining?
I could see the entertainment of it, but I didn't like any of those preachers on TV.
The guy I was trying to think of was Dr. Gene Scott.
Oh well, him. He was.
You remember him?
He was crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say another word until you people give me $1,000.
Well, no. Also, he wanted money because he was getting a divorce and he needed it to pay his lawyers, and they were sending him money.
That's better than a jet plane.
And then he would do like a half-hour rant instead of giving a sermon. He'd do a
Right.
half-hour rant against his wife
Yeah,
and her lawyers.
Yeah, that's the guy with the good hair, though.
Yeah, he had another. He was another one of those guys who had an early transponder.
Right, that's who I was talking about.
I had a chance to buy one of those early transponders. When we were doing Midnight Blue, some guy came to us from RCA or somebody else and said, "Hey, would you like a transponder? It only costs you like, I think $1,500 a week, a really cheap price." And we turned it down because we didn't have the money to do it. That was a lot of money in those days.
Financed by Al Goldstein?
Well, Midnight Blue was financed by Al Goldstein, yeah. But he wasn't going to buy transponder. But if we had owned it, we would have made a fortune. Would have made a fortune.
You could have gotten religious.
Because what you would do is you would literally buy a transponder. Each one of these satellites had like 24 to 36 transponders.
I actually have a satellite dish. There were 24 channels for C-band and I think 32 for KU.
That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
So the transponder would go to a satellite, it would go to a TV station?
Like T1 would have
Each
24 channels.
transponder would be capable of turning out one giant, humongous, go everywhere signal. So if you had a satellite and it had 24 transponders, you could have NBC on this one and CBS on this one, and and so on. Yeah, and people who bought them up early did okay. Another way I could have been a millionaire. Hell with it.
Well, if you would have bought that condo at Whiskey Springs, you would have been.
If I had bought Sirius XM stock when it was at what was it? How low did it go? It was a nickel. It was a nickel. Okay, and I was thinking of buying it. Buy $10,000 worth. It'd be worth many millions right now.
It was about $8.
It's about $6. It
went to 10 at one time.
What?
Didn't they go to 10 at one time?
Oh, one time it was 50. At the very beginning.
Well, I bet you kicked yourself in the ass over that.
Well, of course I kicked myself in the ass, but I'm not that limber anymore. So I can't kick myself in the ass any longer.
Any of us that have done investing have made unknown boo-boos like that. They go, oh, I bought Cisco Systems, the company that puts out routers. I bought 9,000 shares at like $15 a share.
Well, I bought Poncho.
Poncho?
Yeah.
What's that?
What's that?
Oh,
Oh,
Cisco and Poncho.
Oh,
Oh, instead of
No,
Cisco.
nobody gets that joke. I think
I
Charlie
know, I
did.
got it.
Yeah.
Poncho.
Um,
Anyhow, about 9,000 shares. At
I thought I'd
$15.
pull a joke like that because Jack isn't here. And he's, by the way, he had his operation. Oh, I got a call.
How's he doing?
No, I didn't call today. I assume he's alive, but today he had his big spine operation.
Oh wow.
And he then they're sending him off to a rehab facility for a week, and then he'll be back and probably back on the air where I have to teach him how to use Zoom. You know,
Maybe Amy can help him.
but if Amy, if you're listening, she doesn't listen to the show. Maybe you know how he did.
I'll write her and ask her how he's doing.
Because there's no way that I could find out how he's doing because I don't even have the hospital. I just have his phone number.
I talked to Amy.
Huh?
Oh, you did?
I talked to Amy, and Amy said surgery went fine.
Oh, it did?
I think that's what she said yesterday or something. I don't know.
No, it can't be yesterday because the surgery was today.
Oh, maybe yesterday was the circumcision. I missed out.
Yeah,
I sent him a message talking about cars. That usually cars
let's go
get
to
people's
cars.
mind off things.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about cars.
yeah,
No, I sent that to Jack. I sent that message to Jack about cars.
yeah. Well, let's all keep out a good thought.
I'll send Amy a message.
I already did.
Huh?
Why don't
I
you
just
send
did.
Jack a message? Somebody send Amy a message.
Yeah. Fighting this ended.
Oh, actually, Irv Jackson is on Messenger. How did your surgery go?
He's got 6 accounts.
Yeah, well, it'll take him 3 days to answer it.
He didn't remember the code for getting into any of them.
Speaking of sending money, I know you don't like me listening to the Alex Bennett guy who's
Watch
on
out.
the.
I'll bring up my what do you call it's going to come up here. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, let me see here. Jack Bishop. Irv Jackson. Here we go. Hi, how'd it go? How did it go?
So we just all wait
Oh, yeah.
for a reply.
Oh, wait a minute. I should put a question mark on that, shouldn't I? Okay, so how'd it go? Okay, so now I feel good. I've done my thing for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of cars and sending money to people,
Yeah.
I'm listening to those Alex Bennett shows that the guy's posting, and I know you don't like me listening to that guy, but you were talking about like getting a new Nissan, the NSX, the Acura NSX,
Mm-hmm.
and you told people you wanted to buy one, so you asked everybody to send $1.
Yeah.
Were you really getting money from people sending money?
No.
Soupy Sales did that.
I never got an NSX.
I know.
Well,
That's actually that's
That
a
would have been a
beautiful
nice car.
Well, all
That
my
And
NSX was-
they're expensive now too. They're like really
Used.
expensive now.
all my
Right.
friends at New Tech, you know, the trouble thing was with what do you call it? Tech companies. So all the people who worked at tech companies were big car guys, you know, and they all bought expensive cars. And the big car at New Tech at the time was the NSX, which I think at that time only cost about $75,000, but that was a lot of money in those days.
For a
Yeah.
Nissan?
Yeah,
But
Oh, these
Acura
are
NSX.
gorgeous.
Oh,
actually,
the Acura
The
NSX.
Acura. Sorry, I said Nissan, but it's Acura.
Oh.
Acura NSX.
Oh, okay. Now I
So
know.
far ahead of their time.
it was a good.
Yeah, that car is. Yep.
Yeah. Then, when my friend Paul, who's no longer with us, went and started another company, which was, what do you call it? Oh, God, my mind. Play Incorporated. He bought a Ferrari. Okay? And the guy he started the company with owned a, what's the bigger one? The big
The
car.
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. The Lamborghini Diablo, I think it was.
Mhm.
And the guy gave it to him as a gift.
Wow.
So now he had a Lamborghini Diablo. And we get in this car because we would take road trips and always go up to Tahoe, and then we'd go up and gamble for a couple hours, and then we'd come back. Okay? It was just a great road trip. I never had a worse ride in my life than a $225,000 Lamborghini. Am I right? They ride hard, right?
Yeah, they're terrible drive. Yeah.
I
That's
thought
probably because you were only moving at 120 instead of 160 miles an hour.
Brian, is it hard to see out of those the Lamborghini?
Yeah, the Lamborghini is very hard to see, and I used to make a joke. I used to make laugh at people when they back them up into when we have these little get-togethers and stuff. And now I have a hard time in my car, but the Lamborghini is really bad.
Every time we time we hit a bump, I get a new hemorrhoid.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
Brian, is the reason that you lost weight is so you could fit into the McLaren?
No, I lost the weight and I said I deserve a McLaren.
I deserve a McLaren. Well, by the way, I want to find out how you doing, Trucker Steve? Oh, we just lost him.
You know, if I lose 25 pounds, will you buy me a McLaren too, Dad?
If you lose 25 pounds,
you fit in my McLaren, I'll let
you would. There would be no difference.
You'd never get me out. You need a crane to get me out.
Hey, my friend Ronnie, that Kevin knows, he lost 100 pounds, and I told him if he keeps that off, he's tried to lose more, but man, he used to be really big. And I said if he continues to kept it where he's at and maintain or lose more, he'll be the first one to drive in my 34 Cadillac Speedster. So that's coming up in a couple months. So there's
a classic car place in Emeryville, and I had an MGA, a 1960 MGA when I was in high school. So I stopped at this place one afternoon, and I went in, and they had a 1960 MGA. So I opened the door, and I got into it, and I couldn't get out. I was at my heaviest too, and I actually had to crawl out of it onto the ground. I thought I was going to have to get somebody to help me. I couldn't get out from under the wheel. I couldn't get out of the car.
My mother's got a Honda Civic. It's brand new. I got into it, and I couldn't get out of it.
Is it my age, or is it harder to get out of cars these days?
Well, at my weight, it's harder to get out of cars.
Forget about that.
Kind of, like SUVs or things like that?
I'm talking about like I get out of cars like when I get out of a car, a lift, or for instance a car like that. I just find that it's a lot more difficult to get out of the back seat of some of these cars. They
put the pillars in a different place now, and they shove the seats forward.
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah. Cars are built a lot different now than they were.
Same thing with the front doors. The front doors are back this far. More.
Don't you order
because they shove the engines in there, and then the engines come up under the firewall, and they build the firewall around the back part of the engine. And
because I also find that I have to like grab both sides of the door to get myself out now.
Yeah, so it's not you.
So it's not me.
Look at those back seats. Back seats are terrible. The back seats and the door frame trying to get out.
Yeah. Okay, then it's not me.
No,
well, it may be you, but no.
we're just trying to make it feel better.
Is it Lyft or Uber where you can get a luxury car? You can get a Mercedes right in.
Screw that! Why am I going to pay another?
Because you're Alex Bennett. They don't.
It's XL. It's Uber, but it's XL, and then sometimes they don't have an XL, and they come up with.
They'll call me and put you in my truck.
Here's the clue. Here's the clue on Lyft, and I'm sure it's true with Uber. They have like 3 different prices: 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and 15 minutes.
Like magic.
And if you order the 15-minute, it's here in 2 minutes.
Wow.
Every time. You know.
You ever see those videos where they throw the people out of the Lyft cars and the Ubers, because they're either drunk or abusive?
Republican.
Yeah.
You like all those shows, Phil, huh? The plane one and then the Uber
like the
one.
plane one. Oh,
what about the carpet
shows.
store and they kick you out?
Yeah.
Talking about shows, Better Call Saul has just been excellent the last few shows.
I haven't seen this week yet.
Don't blow it for me. Knock it off.
Oh, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just, I'm really sorry that this show is going away.
It's not going the way you expected.
Is Gene Tekovic going to be the next spinoff?
They all die. There's no spinoff. They all die.
I started watching it all over again.
I think all of us want to know, is he going to be back with Kim at the end?
No, I don't think so. Did you see that last episode? Did she hang up on him when he called her from the?
That wasn't Kim.
phone booth?
That wasn't Kim.
It wasn't Kim.
No,
he called.
that
he
was the
called place
that
in
was the
Florida.
woman who worked for him at Better Call Saul.
No. That woman told him. He gave her money. Remember, with the string and the rock and the pipe.
Yeah.
And then,
well, now you're spoiling it for people.
They never mentioned Kim on Breaking Bad, so I can't believe he's getting back together with Kim.
Well, the reason why one of the reasons they got rid of Kim, and when they did, was because she wasn't in Breaking Bad, and so she couldn't be in that scenario.
Right.
But somewhere she's, I think, in the back somewhere, and I don't know that at the end I'm hoping they get back together again. I'm hoping, I would like, after all the dreariness of Breaking Bad and the dreariness of Better Call Saul, that they surprise us and have a happy ending.
What was the thing at the beginning of the series of this season where they're ripping apart Saul's house and taking all his furniture out?
Well, that's part of the scenario of something happened. Something happened at the end to Saul in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
it happened.
And then,
but now he's in Nebraska.
No, and
They all die.
Well, no, but
They all die. There's a big tornado and they all die. Something, I don't know, earthquake.
They bury him in the desert in New Mexico. Yeah.
No, but then
they all died.
And the present story is this rather dull life that he's leading, where apparently he's sick of being dull.
Yeah,
So it's very interesting the way they've gone. And I guess they're going to do a spin-off series with Carol Burnett.
What?
In Hawaii.
The hell?
Yeah.
I watched one thing on Netflix which is really interesting. May not be interesting to anybody, but they have a blow something, and it's this it's a every week they had like 10 or 15, maybe 20 of these glass blowers, and then they go every week and they make something. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I've seen a glass blower before.
But the trouble is, they lost a couple of people doing that show because they accidentally inhaled. One of them had the hiccups and he died.
I knew a glass blower. Actually, he was in the Ghirardelli Square. This is back in the 70s, and it was very interesting. I would go there and watch him do it. He studied in Italy, and he worked for Vistosi Glass, which was a line that I carried. So I was able to watch him and see him do these things that were similar to what they did with the Murano glass and Vistosi and all of those.
I'll bet he gave good head too.
It was really interesting the way they would create art.
Yeah, we actually we're going down to LA with our cars, and one of the car got had something happening, so we pulled over to Santa Barbara there's no Jack show, so don't rush me. So we pulled over. My friend Ronnie got his car worked on right there, but right across the street was a glass blower, and he was passing it down to his son. So his son had been doing it for a couple of years with him, and they were doing these awards for something in Hollywood. It's really, really interesting, like Bill says.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
What's the name of the show, Brian?
Blow It, Blow Me, Blow Something. I don't know. It's something blow, but it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Okay.
Yeah, I watched only the third season. It's really interesting, though.
Now, there's another season coming out of The Old Man, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's shortly, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's shortly, maybe in a year.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought that show was so-so. It was just,
I enjoyed it,
It was.
I mean, I liked Reacher better, the newest Jack Reacher one.
I didn't watch that.
Better watch the Terminal List is good.
I'm more interested in having them bring back Faye and Tammy Baker. Faye and Tammy Baker. Jim and Tammy.
Yeah, maybe Gene Scott.
Actually, Jim's still around doing his shows and
Thing?
stuff. Yeah.
Didn't Tammy Baker marry the attorney? Her attorney?
I can't remember who she married, but sad
But
story.
didn't she die?
Yeah, she's
She
dead.
got cancer.
She's dead. Hey, listen, that's the theme song playing. There's no Jack after this. So you don't know Jack, and there's no
Jack
Jack
off.
after this. Yeah, but
Jack's off.
but we'll play a rerun of Jack. How's that? Will everybody be happy with that?
Well, Alan will call into that.
I think I have one ready where it was the Amy and Jack show. So that. Anyway, thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. I always appreciate your little get-togethers with me on Wednesdays. What happened to your photo club?
There's no in-person right now, so they're just doing it on Zoom, and I don't. I only do prints. I don't like doing the digitals.
All right.
No old men to beat up.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Alan, and thank you, Charlie. I love your T-shirt tonight. The wonderful and attractive Brian is there with his lovely and attractive daughter. Oh, look at her. She's being adorable. And that's Adrian. And then thank you also to Kevin, and thanks to Tony, and thanks to Jeff. And
my other daughter. I'm up here.
Other daughter. Wait a minute.
Amy
where
just
is she?
responded. Jack is did well and he's resting.
Anyway, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, and we will call it a night. Bid you a fondue or a big fondue or something. Bye. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. That's it. There's no Jack Bishop next because he just got through being operated on. But he'll be fine, hopefully, and he'll be back soon. In the meantime, we'll play a rerun of one of his older shows. I'm Alex Bennett. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody. Have a good night.